Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here, coming at you today inside Raid Shadow Legends. Today I'm going to start out by opening, because I have a little bit of time left on my boosted summons, we're going to be reviewing the newly buffed Shamrock, who I've maxed out. I've tried a bunch of different kind of mastery combinations. I'm going to share my experience with you guys, talk about, is he good now? Is he like S tier? Is he A tier? Is he even C tier? Because before he was like the bottom of the barrel, useless legendary. So we're going to talk about him today, but before we do so, let's see if we can get a something good here. We got the double chances in the boosted summons, and we're going to start out with Deathless. Deathless, the reviews are actually not too bad. I'm not familiar with her, so let's check him out. On the A1, Grave Whisper attacks one enemy, 70% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense buff for 2 turns if one or more allies are dead. Okay, that's very interesting. 30% decreased speed buff, 2 turns if 2 more allies are dead. And then the accuracy if 3 or more allies are dead. Very, very interesting. And damage inflicted proportional to defense. Okay, the A2 is places a 30% reflect damage buff on the champion for 2 turns. Then attacks one enemy, 80% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 1 turn. Obviously defensive base as well. And a 7-turn cooldown can be booked down to 5. Attacks all enemies. This attack will always be critical if there are 2 or more dead allies. Damage increases according to the number of dead allies. It's very interesting. She's named Deathless, and she's all about, you know, getting advantages for the more allies you have dead. Very, very interesting. Anyway, let's go ahead and summon another one here, and then we'll get into Shamrock. Maybe I shouldn't have started with these shard pulls. Maybe I should have just got right into it with Shamrock. I apologize, guys. Anyway, we will go ahead and Infernal Baroness, we reviewed here on the channel before, so not the entire review, but we've gone over her kit just in case you guys want to see it. But it is an AoE, and a Veil on the 3rd. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into Shamrock, the big fella. So he got a buff. Really excited about this because I had pulled him, I don't know, about a month ago, and I remember lamenting over it in that very video where I pulled him, and I was like, dude, he sucks. And the reviews still say it too. Look at it, all 2s across the board. Now that will be changing quite a bit. So luck swap. What they added to the luck swap. Well, let's just talk about it all, and we'll talk about the buffs as well. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 60% chance of removing 1 random buff from the target. That can be booked up to 75% chance. If that buff is removed, can be booked up to 50% chance of stealing that buff. They added the buff steal to his A1. Now, very notable on Shamrock here. Obviously, Spirit Affinity, Ogre and Tribe. But on the A1, that's the only ability that he has that does any damage to any opponents, and it's a single target, 1 enemy 2 times. That's going to come into play when we talk about his Masteries. Lucky Charms on his A2 can be booked down to 3 turns for all of these 2-turn buffs on your team. Now, this is really, really cool. I love the way that they redid this, honestly. Starts out with, it's always going to be placing a 60% increased defense on all of your allies for 2 turns. So obviously the strong version, he's a legendary, no surprise. Places a 30% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns if they have more than 50% HP. Also has a chance of placing a 30% increased crit rate, okay? So crit rate, we're not even going to worry too much about that unless you build a team really specifically around him. And even then, you don't have a 100% chance of landing it. When booked, it would be a 70% chance. So I'm not even going to worry about the crit rate, but it's really cool that when you're starting out with this ability, Lucky Charms, right? The first time you cast it, more often than not, I built him for the arena, by the way. We're going to talk about that too and talk about differences in how you can build him if you want to use him for campaign or dungeons. But it's really cool because in the beginning, he's going to be giving you that 30% increased speed. That's when you need it. And then towards the end, the second time you use it or the 3rd time, whatever, he'll place a revive on death buff on your allies with less than 50% HP. Also has a 50, can be booked up to 70% chance of placing a continuous heal on those allies for 2 turns. So really, really unique and cool ability. I love it. I played him a lot in the arena, and it's really fun. I love that versatility that it does 2 different things in one big AoE buff ability, and it's always landing that increased defense as well. On the A3, Uncatchable, it can be booked down to 4-turn cooldown. Places a 30% decreased speed debuff on all enemies for 2 turns, decreases the turn meter of all enemies by 15%. Now they added, fills the turn meter of all allies by 15% if any enemy's turn meter is below 50%. So again, you just gotta kind of have an awareness of the battlefield if you're using it in arena. If you can get them below 50%, even if you don't get them below 50%, if they're below 50%, you use this ability, it's gonna notch up 15% boost on all of your allies' turn meters as well. Just kind of a note as well here. He's placing the Revive on Death buff on all allies with less than 50% HP. That's including him as well, okay? Just to kind of let you guys know. And his aura increases allies' accuracy in all battles by 70. I was going to say 70%. Whoa, easy there. By 70. So, all right aura, right? If you need the accuracy, go for it. Especially like in dungeons if you really need it. But otherwise, nothing to write home about. So his Masteries. Keep in mind, I built him for the arena, guys, okay? So I like that extra resist way more than War Master. Everywhere that you look up online or in any other video, there's not that many out there that you see on Shamrock, it's going to tell you to go down War Master on the offensive tree. But keep in mind, again, he only has that one damaging ability on the A1. The ability on the A1 is awesome, you know, remove a buff and potentially steal it, but that has nothing to do with the damage being dealt, right? And even when, because I tested it out on War Master, I tested him out with higher attack and higher crit rate, still not doing a ton of damage on that A1. So why even bother? And feel free if you disagree or if you have any comments on this to let me know in the comment section. But, you know, through trial and error, I really suggest you go defense on him, even if you're not just using him for arena, but especially if you are. I'd rather take the plus 60 resistance on the Unshakable and the Defiant than have War Master on just the A1, you know, well, obviously, but, you know, have that extra damage on an A1 where you're really not counting on him to be a big damage dealer anyway. That makes sense to you guys? So then on the support tree, I'm ending out it sucks, right? Because I really want Evil Eye on him, especially for arena, but at the same time, I want Lasting Gifts a little bit more, so I decided to go with the Cycle of Magic, and then the Lasting Gifts, and the Master Hexer. So, guys, again, use what works for you, but for me, I love this. I love this setup for on the support and the defense tree on my Shamrock, okay? So, artifacts, I decided since I'm building for arena, and honestly, I think I'm just going to keep it the same no matter what I'm using him for, even in dungeons and stuff. I'm going speed on him, right? He has that increased speed. He has that turn meter manipulation, both in the enemies and on your own team. So why not just have him going as fast as humanly possible while having a high accuracy? Let's take a look at my total stats on him real quick. I want his defense to be high too, so I'm going to talk about that when I get to my gear selection. But 40k HP, 2k attack, defense 2700, speed is 231. You know, basically the higher the better in my opinion. Crit rate and crit damage, I wasn't that concerned with crit rate and crit damage on him, honestly. I'd rather have higher resistance and higher debuff accuracy, because most people already know this, but just in case you don't, that turn meter manipulation as well on the opponents, that's based on accuracy. It's not guaranteed. So you want high accuracy on him. I have it at 352, which is really high, but that's what I need. I'm teetering on Platinum Arena right now in the arena. So in terms of his gear, my stat priorities for him, I'm prioritizing speed, accuracy, and defense HP, because I'm building him to be a little bit more robust in the game rather than putting out a lot of damage on his A1. You know, why does it, you know, to me it's not that relevant. I'd rather have that accuracy again for his A1 and his A3. Okay. So let me go back and just show you the gear on him before we take him into the arena. So I think he's definitely improved, guys. I mean, I just love what they did with him. I don't think he's S tier, just personally, but I think he's definitely A tier. I think he's really cool. You can build a team around him. So resistance and speed. I just want speed. Basically, I went 3 speed sets. Did I go 3 speed sets? No, I went 2 speed and 1 accuracy. So in terms of set priorities, if you can get all speed on him, I'll go all speed. Mix in an accuracy set, or if you don't have the perfect gear, go ahead and mix up your sets, but just prioritize those stats that I mentioned. Then we'll just kind of go through the gear really quick that I have on him. I decided to go defense on the gauntlets here, guys, because again, I don't want to make him a glass, you know, I don't want him to fall immediately. I want him to stay alive and to keep putting those revives on death on my other allies if things get kind of sketchy in my battles, right? So I didn't even glyph this out, but again, could definitely glyph Glyphis, get a little bit more speed. So I went defense on the gauntlets. I went accuracy on the chest. Accuracy on the chest is something that I normally would only really advise you guys if you're building an arena team. Just my opinion, but you don't need, crazy accuracy anywhere other than the arena. Well, I guess you can get it through your banner, you can get it through other places, even if you're in Clan Boss usually, right? But if you want sky-high accuracy, approaching 400 accuracy towards the end game, then for that reason, I went with accuracy on the chest just because I happen to have a 6-star speed accuracy chest. And I was like, let's go with it, right? And then I would like some speed on the substats, though, there. So you can argue maybe I could swap that out. I went with speed, obviously, on the boot. So speed, and maybe go defense or HP on the chest / gauntlets, and then just make sure you're prioritizing those stats. Again, you can go accuracy as well if you want to, like I did. And then on his jewelry here, I did go with crit damage. I went HP, I went crit damage on the amulet. If I had something better, I'd probably go with it, but I had some accuracy on the sub-roll and some resist, so I decided to go with it. And accuracy banner is going to be important for him as well. Preferably accuracy with speed as a substat. Didn't have one available, but you do what you can. So that is his total setup here, guys. He's a unique champion in the way that, let's go ahead and, well, recommended, they say speed everywhere too, speed in life. So arena offense, I'm going to give him a 5. Arena defense will give him a 5. The revive on death and the continuous heal are really, really handy. And that speed, and that defense, and that buff steal. Like, he has a really cool kit that makes him rather unique. Campaign locations too, 5. He's just a really great support champion now, guys, honestly. Clan Boss, well, he's not a debuffer. He's a buffer, but he's putting out no damage, no poison. Nothing too crazy. I'm not loving him for a Clan Boss. I guess for like early to mid game, if you happen to pull him, go ahead and try him out. But that's not where he's going to be used. Void, we will go ahead. Well, I'm not going to rank the rest. Fire Knight, again, if you need that kind of stability, he has a multi-hit on his A1, but it's only 2 hits. If you need that kind of extra defense to get through or whatever, sure, he can be used, but he's not, I wouldn't say he's a specialist per se. And then that turn meter manipulation is not bad for spiders, but again, he's not putting out damage, doesn't have an AoE, so just keep that in mind. Increased defense isn't going to help you a ton. Usually you're just trying to, DPS, depending on your team, comp. These ratings are so tough, right? Because it really depends on your team, your champion's available, what you're trying to do. Are you speed farming, or are you just trying to beat the level that you never beat before? So there's so many factors in there, so it's really tough to judge. But, again, for dragons, the same thing. I would give him a 5 just because, if you need him in that role, Ice Golem 2, he can do a good job kind of supporting the team. All right, guys, so in the arena here, man, it's... The reason I built him with such high resistance, by the way, is because Torment is still running rampant right now inside this game on arena defense. When almost every team, almost every person who has Torment is using him on arena defense, it just goes to show you that he's still way too strong in my opinion. I know that's kind of unpopular, but to me, it's just like, geez, man. That's just, it's not fun, It's not fun to go against Torment every match. Even if you have him, it's just not so fun. So I built him with high resist to try to avoid some of those freezes. So let's go ahead and start out here, guys. I think we'll have the speed advantage, and this should be a relatively easy match, I believe. Let's see. As long as I go first, which I think I will. And we do. I'm going to go ahead and get that turn meter up. Let's go ahead and put a provoke down. Nice. So I think it's already won this battle. And if you guys, I've mentioned this in the past, but if you guys want me to do, and check this out. So I'm going to use Lucky Charms right now, but what I was going to say is, if you guys want me to do like some Platinum Arena videos in the future, I'm happy to do some. Just kind of like take our time and go through like 10 matches as like one video or something, and maybe switch up the compositions as well. But look at this. So Lucky Charms is going to do a couple different things, right? It's going to place a revive on death on my biggin, because look at his HP, the third guy in. And the other guys are going to have that increased defense as well. So see the revive on death. If we go, we have the increased speed, attack, and defense on all, and some crit rates in the revive on death there on my biggin. So really solid. And now I can just kind of go in with the, I guess I'm going to go for the stun here on the A2, and the whole team is pretty much dead. But look at the revive on death worked right there against Skullcrown, right? He's right back up. So not too bad. Also has that chance of placing the continuous heal too. Didn't land that time, but Just keep that in mind. Let's go against another. Okay, this has Mountain King, has Skull Crown, Skull Crusher as well. Let's go against this comp. See how we do here. So again, starting out with the let's go. There we go. Landing those provokes on the Seeker is so crucial. And again, the increased defense. Check it out, man. Got the crit rate up. It's just beautiful. And now we can come in with our nuker, Biggin. Having the nuker, having Biggin too. Let's try to land a provoke on Mountain King here. We didn't land it. Let's Kymar, get our turn meter up again. And this time we can actually do the decrease. Ooh, that was actually maybe not the best decision there because none of the enemy's turn meters were actually below. I could have A1 there, try to steal that unkillable off of Skull Crown. But, you know, live and learn. Let's try to land that again. This time we do land it. That's good. And now we'll go in with the turn meter. So these matches take a little bit longer, kind of the higher you go up in Arena. I remember I had Hades on. He was like, dude, at the very, very top of Arena, you know, not all the matches, obviously, but a lot of these matches are going like 8-10 minutes each, you know, pretty crazy. Anyway, let's see if we can go ahead. Yeah, this will kill a good bit of the team. Now we can just go on auto attack. But you guys saw it. Look at 2,000, 5,000 damage. Granted, on Mountain King, who has really high defense, resist, and whatnot. But still, even when I had the crit rate gauntlets on him, and I had higher attack on him, and I had War Master on him, he's sitting for like 10, 15K. You know, it's not. Yeah, I think I'd much rather have the resist just personally on him, even in dungeons, right? Because he's just so much more like hardy and just stays alive so much better, can resist and keep him going, keep him fast, keep him buffing the team, you know what I'm saying? And keep placing those revives like I mentioned earlier. So here we go, just about 2 minutes, we end up taking that squad down. Let's go and do one more here, guys. Let's go against one of these Arbiter teams. Actually, let's go against a team with Tormund. Let's see. So this is going to be interesting. They have Razin in the lead, so they're going to have a lot of resist. Let's give it a try, though. Worst case scenario is we lose. Really high team power, which means they have a lot of resist built in as well. This is going to be really challenging, but you know what? I like a challenge, guys. Who cares? Worst thing that can happen is we lose. So here we go. We're going to go first. So these first 2 turns or so, and he does get frozen there even with that resist, so that's not what we wanted at all. And we don't land any of the sleeps. Whoa, okay, game over. Yeah, that's unfortunate, but what can you do? Let's see if we can land any stuns. Nope, everything blocked, dude. This team is just a whale. And now we don't even have our strip buff from Kymar on, and Biggin's gonna die, and the whole thing just bye-bye. All right, well, like I said, the worst thing is we can do is lose, and that's exactly what we did. We'll go on auto and let them finish this off. But again, their resist is just too high for my team. To fight a team like this, I just need an accuracy on everybody of like 400 plus. I just don't have the gear to do that just yet. So that's why we lost this battle. Not so much anything strategically other than we just don't have the accuracy, you know? And we don't have the resist high enough to resist their Torment on his freeze, which again is just infuriating to me. I'm not the only one who's infuriated by Torment. Do you guys think he's balanced now, or am I in the wrong there? Anyway, so I'll take him, I guess, in like a campaign or something, just so you can see him. But it's basically the same thing, right? Let's just leave this battle. End this nightmare. Okay, let's go to I don't know. Want to see him in Dragon's Lair, guys? You know what he'd be like in campaign. He could probably solo campaign on his own, but it would take forever because he's not putting out much damage at all. But he's best with a DPSer, AoEs, the usual stuff. He's a good kind of support / buffer on your team. Just remember, he doesn't have any debuffs besides those speed and the turn meter manipulation, so you're still going to need that defense down and that attack down on your team to have like a well-balanced comp. Let's go in tier. Let's put him in for let's put him in for Kymar and just kind of see how he does. Let's see. All right, so let's see what he defaults to. Okay, he starts with his A3, so notable there, he's not starting with the Lucky Charms ability, so we don't start with the increased defense. but he's so fast that he gets to it really quick there, as you guys could see. So I think that round 2 of dragons is where people kind of struggle after like the later abilities of your champions are on cooldown. So we'll see how we do in round 2, and then once we get to dragons, I'm sure this team is really not going to go anywhere. And he is the only legendary in this comp as well, so kind of notable. So make quick work pretty much of the first wave. Which we pretty much expected. Timing-wise, not too bad, not too great. Dragon's 20, Heat Seeker is used there by Coldheart. Really want that Lucky Charms to go off right now. He uses a 1 there, so Lucky Charms should be up next. But we take a big hit there on our Coldheart, and we have no buffs up. Okay, finally. Now she has the Revive on Death on her, and we didn't get a continuous heal, but she has an increased defense and the Revive on Death, so even if she dies here, it's totally cool, right? So let's see what happens. Now we're getting the whole enemy, all the enemies debuffed. Now she has the shield up. So things have got a little shaky there, not going to lie. We just used takedown right there on a Royal Guard. So that means it's going to be, again, this is not a fast run, but you're kind of seeing what he can do to a team. Keep that speed up. You guys can see the increased 30% speed across the board here. Again, he's not putting out any damage. So you need some nukers with him on the team. But all in all, we're moving right along at a slow and steady pace here. And now we get to the dragon. And we should probably be able to beat the dragon in, 45 seconds before 2:30? Let's see if we can do it. We land the decreased defense. So we have Tyrell here. We have Miscreated Monster, Coldheart, and Royal Guard, along with Shamrock, obviously, in this squad. So I think it's a pretty decent squad considering there's no legendaries in it, right? So boost turn meter. Here he goes. Again, not putting out like any damage. And it looks like I was wrong. We're not getting any of those big money abilities landed on the dragon. Okay, we just hit with the Cold Hearts. Now we get the takedown down. Okay, so now we got 5 seconds to do this, Ash. Don't call me a liar, team. All right, it's not looking so hot, but either way, guys, I'll just kind of give the outro as we finish up this battle against this dragon. But I do think that, to surmise here, and this is not the perfect team for him, but either way, I think that he's much improved. What do you guys think? Are you impressed with the buffs? Is it enough? Could they do more? Let me know in the comments below. If you have him, if you do have him, let me know if you tried him out. And if you don't have him, let me know if he's a champion that you would go ahead and rank up and use your skill books on and everything like that. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this content, if you want me to review a champion that maybe you pulled, just let me know in the comments below. I read all of your comments. I really appreciate you guys. And as always, take care, guys.